Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Live Your Best Marriage podcast. And I'm your host, Pesa Shayo.
And I'm Whitney Shayo.
That's my wife. And you can always find me at Pesa Shayo on Twitter.
And I'm at Whitney Shayo.
And at the Live Your Best Marriage podcast, we always believe that every marriage has a chance to be awesome and to be fulfilling. Every marriage has a chance to be awesome and fulfilling. So that's why we always come here every Friday to give you tips and pointers to be able to make your marriage awesome and fulfilling.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we know how it is. We've been married for 11 years and we have 3 children. So we know, we get the struggle, but we also believe that everybody has a chance to make it. And we want to encourage you to just keep going.
Because every day in most media establishment, what you will hear is how your marriage will not work, how everything is all the deck is stacked up against your marriage. But we are here to tell you that it's possible to make it work. There's a lot of work to do, but we also believe that it takes the same amount of work to get a mediocre marriage as it is to get a awesome and fulfilling marriage. All you need is work, and the difference is where you direct your energy and your effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And also, the thing is, it's not about being incompatible or trying to find that perfect match. It's what he just said. It's all about the effort that you put in it. It's all about the work that goes into the marriage.
Yes, the work towards staying together, not the work towards being apart. And even when you're having some conflict, how do you go through the conflict? Do you go through it in a way that leaves both of you in a worse situation than when you started? Or you're going through conflict in a way that you will be more stronger after you get done with the conflict?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do your disagreements bring you guys closer together at the end or further apart?
Because we should always find ways to build each other, bring each other together, and strengthen our marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know one of the hardest parts for me is actually remembering that we're on the same team.
Yes, we are on the same team. And sometimes when you look at it like, oh man, my spouse is really giving me a hard time. But if you can always remember that we are on the same team, we are in this together, there's always going to be some disagreements here and there, but we are on the same team. And because we're on the same team, although sometimes it doesn't feel like we're on the same team.
Yeah, when you're having those moments when you're like, okay, seriously, did he really just say that? It's like, right now I can remember we're on the same team, but when that's happening, it's a little bit harder.
And so the thing is, actually some of these habits, if you can groove them into your marriage psyche, that you are on the same team when everything is going well, you are more likely to remember them when things are not going well, compared to when you're in crisis and there's a lot of drama. That's when you're trying to learn these habits. It will be pretty hard to do that. So we are Live Your Best Marriage podcast, and we totally believe that every marriage has a chance to be awesome and also to be fulfilling.
Yeah, and that's actually one thing that has really helped us over the years. And I think that's probably one thing that has helped us even stay together in the last year is we changed our attitude. We changed the way we view marriage. And we would always have those thoughts like, in the back of our mind during a disagreement. It's like, oh, well, actually there is no perfect spouse out there. There is no perfect marriage. And so it's not like if I leave this one, then I'm going to go and live happily ever after with someone else. No, we had to learn the hard way. We just had to learn. We had to get it through our head that, you'll have the same problems with anyone else. So you might as well just work it out you might as well just fix what you already have.
Yes. you might as well fix what you have, because even if you go somewhere else, you will have to start over. And remember, you're also going to go ahead and deal with another human being with their issues and your issues. So some of the same problems will still come up, because that's where you are having issues. So you will just transfer your problems from one person to the other, but you will still have to deal with that. So again, we are here to show you that it's possible to have a great, awesome marriage.
Yeah, and you actually had a friend who had a midlife crisis, and he was in his mid-40s, and he had an affair. And
yes.
Then when he went to counseling with his wife, the counselor gave him some pretty helpful information that he wished he had before. He explained that he wished if the counselor had told him this sooner, he wouldn't have even cheated in the first place. He said that when he and his wife were having issues, he met someone else, and then after that whole thing was over, it took a long time for the relationship with his children to heal. He said that his daughter, who was a teenager at the time, would not even speak to him for a very, very long time after that. And but as far as the information that the counselor gave him, he told him that, when you start something with someone else, you'll be dealing with their ex and their kids, and then your kids will also have to get used to this whole thing. And he was just saying, wow, if I had known that before, if someone had just told me about that before, I would not have started another relationship.
And that's why we're here, to just remind you of these things. Most of these things we're talking about, they are common sense, but for most of us, they are not common practice. And until we make them common practice, we will never get the results that we deserve. Hey guys, we will take a quick break, and then on the next segment, we will talk about some Bible verses that show that men and women are
equal.
Yes, some Bible verses that show that men and women are equal. And my wife has been compiling them, and she was going to go ahead and bring them to us. So guys, hold on tight, and we'll see you in a few. Guys, we're back. Welcome to the Live Your Best Marriage podcast. And again, I'm your host, Pesa Shayo.
And I'm Whitney Shayo.
And where can they find you, Whitney?
You can find me on Twitter at Whitney Shayo, and you can also find us at liveyourbestmarriage.com/blog too.
Yes, and you can always find me at Pesa Shayo on Twitter. And again, we are always very thankful for everybody who has been supporting our ministry, as we are trying to reach out to a lot of folks to remind them that their marriage has a chance to be awesome and fulfilling. And Whitney had some Bible, she was going to tell us about some Bible verses that she has found that actually show that men and women are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, husbands and wives are equal to each other. This is our latest blog post, because over the years I've heard several misinterpretations over some verses, and even I also in the past used to be somewhat misled. I also thought, I believed that whole thing where, wives are forced to obey their husbands, or like a husband can divorce his wife for any reason he wants. But no, those things are not true. So I started out with Genesis. So God designed mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. That's Genesis 1:27. And I also wanted to bring up the fact that some people say, okay, well, if Adam was made first, then that's enough to show that Eve is beneath him. But actually, no. She was taken from a bone in his side. She was made from his rib. So that means she was meant to walk side by side with her husband. So, but if God had intended her to be beneath him, he would have created her from a bone in his, what do you think?
Feet.
Yeah, in his feet. Or if she was meant to control him, then she would have been taken from a bone in his
Feet.
in his head. No. Yeah. So yeah. I know. It sounds weird at first, but no. Also, another verse is the wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. In the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife. That's 1 Corinthians 7:4.
Yeah. Can you explain us a lot about?
Yeah. So I was hoping you would explain that one for us, because you're just so...
Yes. And actually, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. A husband has no authority over his own body.
And the wife has no authority over her own.
So
that
they're
shows...
pretty much equal. They're pretty much equal. And they should work together.
Yeah, they're both being equally instructed to love one another the same and put each other's needs ahead of their own. And then the most obvious one is they're supposed to fulfill one another's sexual needs as well.
Yes.
So it's not that old, oh, the wife has to obey. Oh, no, it's not like that. And then another one was the one, wives, submit to your husbands as you do to the Lord, Ephesians 5:22. This verse is basically instructing the wives to be loving and faithful to their husband just as they are to the Lord. And it's the word submit that usually gets taken out of context. But what it means is they are being called by God to allow their husband to be the leader of the family. And still, this does not make her less than him. It just basically puts a greater burden of responsibility on the husband.
Yes, on the husband.
Yeah. And then the verses following that, there are quite a few of them that are instructing the husband. So it says, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, Ephesians 5:25.
So if somebody's listening to this and they're like, that's great and all, but at the moment, my husband is just such a jerk and I don't see how we are equal. What are you going to tell them?
Oh, okay. So if one spouse is feeling like the other is more controlling, or then it also, there's a verse specifically, again, this is for husbands. It says in 1 Peter 3:7, you husbands in the same way live with your wives in an understanding way as with someone weaker, since she is a woman, and show her honor as a fellow heir of the grace of life, so that your prayers will not be hindered. So that means God is going to hold the husband accountable if the marriage fails. And I just want to clarify.
Say that again?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The husband will have to answer to God if he screws up his marriage.
Whoa. What if he's like, no, this is not my fault?
Nope. He's not a victim. So the term weaker is, again, that's not intended to say that the wife is inferior. It just simply means the wife is gentle and he needs to treat her gently.
Yeah.
So, and the part about his prayers being hindered, that definitely shows that God will hold him accountable.
God will hold him accountable.
Yeah.
So husband, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's some deep stuff right there. And thank you, Whitney, for unpacking a lot of that stuff, because so it just puts a whole new responsibility on the husbands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That if you don't treat your wife, your woman, with respect, your prayers,
your prayers will be hindered.
Oh,
that's
man.
what I said. Yeah. So I mean, honestly, what I get from it.
What if she doesn't treat you with respect?
No, well, she is being instructed to. There are a few verses for that, and if one spouse does not fulfill their obligation. The other one is still supposed to react with love. Both of them are being called to do that.
Okay.
So
react with love.
Yeah.
Folks, that's a lot of stuff right there. Again, we're going to take a quick break and then we will be back for the third and final segment of the Live Your Best Marriage podcast. And again, you can always find us at Pesa Shayo, and
I'm at Whitney Shayo.
And we will see you in a few. Hey folks, we're back to the Live Your Best Marriage podcast. And again, I'm your host, Pesa Shayo.
And I'm Whitney Shayo.
And on this segment, we will be talking about
family balance.
Family balance. So a lot of people talk about family balance, and there's a lot of controversy about this issue. There's some people say you can't achieve balance. Some people say it is possible to achieve balance. What do you think?
Some people say you don't need balance.
Some people say you don't need balance.
Yeah, I have been searching for balance for a long time, for the last several years, and I can't find it. So I've decided I don't need it. I've decided I need to do everything, and I need to do everything in abundance.
There you go. Everything in abundance. Now, that will really...
That might piss off some people. But what I mean by that is it was just too hard. We have 3 kids, and we also have a lot of personal goals that we like to work on. And so I for the longest time, Pesa and I thought like, oh, we have to just choose a few things. But I felt so limited. And recently in the last few months, I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to keep my schedule full.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, with everything from the gymnastics lessons for the kids, from homeschooling, to other sports that they want to do, to writing the blog, going to events and meetings and things like that. I was like, you know what? I just want to do it all.
So some people will be like, you know what? That's good and all, but don't you need some time to unwind? Don't you need some time just to slow down and smell the roses? Don't you need some time just to, quote unquote, enjoy life?
Yeah, those times happen a lot. Just like last night, we all watched a movie together as a family. I mean, those times are always there. There's no shortage of time to relax. But I mean like in terms of limiting yourself as to how many goals you're going to have. Like if you want to take a class at your local university, don't hesitate. Just go and do it. Or if you want to sign up for dance lessons. If you want to or if you guys are going for a date, because we do the weekly date night. But I love it. And I've also found out that if I don't stay totally busy, that's when I start feeling down.
Yes. And it's true. If you don't stay totally busy, that's when you start feeling depressed and all that. And I remember when I was a kid, my mom always used to tell me, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard this, that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. I don't know if they still say that.
Yeah, people still say that.
Yes, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So my mom always wanted us to be busy. And I remember the time, like, I'm just sitting there just trying to relax, I'm tired. And I could see my mom going outside to go and work in the garden. And she would call me, and she called me, and he's like, you know what, you need to be out here helping. At that moment, I felt like, oh man, I felt like it was a drag, But looking back in hindsight, I am so glad she did that. Because it is in those types of situations that she actually instilled in me a lot of hard work. Like, hard work is a good thing. Now, but when we come back to the issue of balance, I honestly believe it's hard to balance everything in your life. There will always be some imbalance that will happen. But you can still be able to do things which are important to your life and be able to accomplish a lot of things if you go ahead and put a lot of action and have fun along the way.
Yeah. And for all the moms and dads out there, I mean, I mean, if you guys have a perfect balance, let us know. Let us know how you squeeze it all in, or let us know what things you had to cut in order for that to happen. Because one thing that we've realized is it takes teamwork. I mean, just for the dishes and the laundry to get done, sometimes, I mean, we have to work as a team. We found out that it can't just be one person doing it all. No. Every single day.
Nope.
So, and we take turns doing a lot of stuff too. So, and with like all the errands that have to be run, I mean, I don't know. I continue to write down my goals, and I'm not going to hesitate to do something just because I can't find balance.
Yes. But that does not mean you are ignoring your family. That means you are just paying a lot of attention to things which are very important to you.
Yeah, and I mean, most goals are family oriented anyway. I mean, if something is going to help you improve yourself, then your family will also benefit from that as well.
In extension.
Yeah.
You guys can always tweet us and tell us what you think about it, because it's something that we had struggled with for a while, and also our friends were struggling because they feel like they have to sit down and figure out everything so they can have a quote-unquote balance. And after a while, we are like, no, there will always be an imbalance. But as long as you are paying attention and doing things which really, really, really mean a lot to you, you will get some fulfillment out of that.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So if you guys have any tips or ideas, share them with us. That is today's podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
Yes, thank you so much for listening. And again, this was the Live Your Best Marriage podcast. You can always find us at liveyourbestmarriage.com. And you can always find us at liveyourbestmarriage.com. And also, I'm at Pesa Shayo.
And I'm at Whitney Shayo.
And until next time, bye and God bless.